Hello, this is Kirill from forexboat.com and welcome back to the course on testing and optimization in MetaTrader 4. Today we'll be talking about the genetic algorithm. So what is the genetic algorithm? According to Wikipedia, in the computer science field of artificial intelligence, a genetic algorithm is a search heuristic that mimics the process of natural selection. This heuristic is routinely used to generate useful solutions to optimization and search problems. Before we discuss this definition, let's have a look at the word heuristic. So a heuristic is a technique designed for solving a problem more quickly when classic methods are too slow, or for finding an approximate solution when classic methods fail to find any exact solution. So going back to our definition of genetic algorithm, this basically means that a genetic algorithm is a process that mimics a natural selection to find solutions to a problem when conventional methods would have taken too long to solve the same problem. So that basically means that we're getting into the territory of evolution. That's very exciting. This means that we're putting together computer science and artificial intelligence on one hand, and on the other hand we're adding to the mix, we're adding evolution and natural selection. And combining those two things that you'd never even think to combine when you're trading the Forex market to get something absolutely outstanding and something that will definitely benefit the process of optimization for us. To understand how exactly this is going to happen, let's have a brief look at how natural selection works in nature, and then see how that can be applied to artificial intelligence and to optimization of Forex robots to extract additional benefits. So in nature, if let's look at a giraffe, for example. Originally giraffes were probably horses, and they were short, and then there was scarce food around them, so they had to evolve, and that happened through mutations, but we won't go into that. What happened was some giraffes got their necks became longer, and those giraffes survived. The ones that had shorter necks just died out because they starved out, and they didn't have any children left to continue their reproduction process, and therefore the giraffes with longer necks dominated the area, and so on. So their necks grew and grew and grew, and only the giraffes with the longer necks survived. And so that's the process of natural selection in a nutshell. Only those that can adapt to the environment survive. But how can we apply this in the Forex market? So let's put this into a diagram for a moment. At the top we have one common ancestor, and through mutation he'll have three different, or many more, but in this case for simplicity, three different offspring. One that is the least adapted to the environment will fail to survive and give more offspring. These two will give offspring, and then out of them, in a natural way, some of them will survive, some of them will fail to survive, and so on. So that's you can apply this to giraffes, you can apply this to any animals, and anything that happens in nature. How the genetic algorithm in MetaTrader 4 works is it takes a set of parameters, and then it varies it a little bit. So it goes up and down in one of the variables, and goes up and down in another variable, and goes up and down in another variable, and gets this set of new parameters, and then compares them. Did they become more profitable, or did they become less profitable? So the ones that became less profitable die. They basically don't get to reproduce. They don't get to continue in the optimization. They're excluded. The ones that became more profitable, well, MetaTrader 4 adjusts the values of those of the variables in those parameters, sets of parameters again, and then it gets some more results from this set, some more results from this set, and say if these die out, basically they become less profitable, then MetaTrader 4 stops optimizing them and doesn't continue with that. Whereas these ones, it again applies that iterative process. So that's a very basic explanation of what MetaTrader 4 does in the background when you run genetic algorithm optimizations. It's very similar, this brief optimization in each case, or brief alteration of parameters, is very similar to what we discussed in one of the prior tutorials where we talked about precise optimization. Well, that's pretty much what happens. MetaTrader 4 just adjusts the parameters a very tiny little bit to see if it can improve the result that we see currently, and it just keeps improving it step by step by step to get a very good result. So let's go over to MetaTrader 4 and see how that all plays out in reality. So we've got Simple System version 5.0 over here with a set of parameters loaded. As you can see, I've already set up optimization. There's going to be a lot of back tests in this optimization because a lot of steps are involved. So we'll check the genetic algorithm is off. We'll click OK, and I'll just quickly see how long it will take to optimize this on using the every tick model. So there's 506,000 backtests that have to be conducted, and on the every tick model, it'll take 105 hours to get this done. So that's more than 4 days of time, and just non-stop optimizing, and you're probably not even guaranteed that your computer won't fail during this process. So, and as you can see, it's slowly building up. And of course, this is a case when conventional methods will take too long to solve the problem at hand. And so if we stop that and then we go to open prices and we look at it on open prices, even at open prices, it will take way too long. It will take 506, it'll take 12 minutes to do this. So if we go to inputs, and I'll just change one of the inputs here, say we'll do it 5, take profit, and we'll just click OK. You'll see that, say, if we want to optimize like that, then it'll take 39 minutes, and there's like 1.8 million optimizations. As you can see, this is the optimization graph, so it's just basically brute forcing through the sets of parameters, and it's just checking every single combination of those parameters, and it's just going to keep going until it goes through everything. You see the chart doesn't even fit anymore. So what we're going to do now is we're going to apply the genetic algorithm and see if that's going to speed up the process. So all you have to do is go to the testing tab, click genetic algorithm over here, click OK, and then click start. And what you'll see right away is it's much faster. If you go to the optimization graph, you can see how it's slowly climbing up, getting more profitable. So, and there you go, it's already done. So here, out of the 1.8 million, MetaTrader 4 usually goes through about 10,000 or so sets of parameters, and it limits the genetic algorithm optimization to that number, and therefore it's much quicker. And as you can see, the graph is not just a sporadic graph. It actually follows that logic that we discussed, where MetaTrader 4 tries to improve the output every time. And so let's just run that again. And the interesting thing about this is that every time you will get a different result. Every time you run the genetic algorithm, because of the way it's structured, because it's like biology, it's got a lot of randomness in it, and therefore results will be different every time. They look similar, but like here you can see it dropped off at the end, so that wasn't a good one. So you can just keep rerunning it and just pick out the one that you really like. And sometimes you can get very good results that way. So another thing I wanted to show you was that if you right click and you click 2D surface, which we discussed in the previous tutorials, you'll see that there's a lot of white spots, and that basically means, like as it says here, no result, meaning that the genetic algorithm never tried to pick the combination of these two parameters where start hour was 12 and min pip limit was 5. And you can change your axes around and say, like we used to have. So y-axis was stop loss and x-axis was take profit. And here you go, you have a lot of white spaces again. And just remember where they're located. If we rerun the optimization now, you'll see that they'll be located in different places now, because once again, it's random. So that's basically how this type of optimization works. And this also means that since there's 10,000 always around 10,000 runs that are made, if you run on the every tick model, then it won't be as long. It won't be 100 hours. It'll be much less, and like in this case, it's just under 3 hours. So you can definitely get that to run and then do some analysis on that on the results. And also what you can do, I also recommend this sometimes, I do this myself, install 4 MetaTrader 4 terminals. If your CPU and RAM allows it, install 4 MetaTrader 4 terminals and run 4 genetic algorithm tests on every tick. And because they're random, they won't be the same results in each of the 4 terminals, and therefore your chances of getting good results are increased, multiplied by 4. And that way it's much more efficient than running all of the tests without genetic algorithm in one terminal. So as you can see here, for example, on control points, that'll only take 2 minutes to pass through this test. So there you go. That's what the genetic algorithm is in a nutshell and how it works in MetaTrader 4. It can definitely speed up your process of optimization, especially when you have lots of parameters, or if you have to optimize on every tick. The genetic algorithm can come in very handy, and I recommend using the genetic algorithm in combination with multiple MetaTrader 4 terminals. So that's all for today. I hope you consider using the genetic algorithm in your optimizations, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tutorial. Until then, happy trading.